In Europe, and good afternoon, evening in Hobart. It's just come on to 7:01, and it's the 10th of January, already working our way into 2023. Quite interesting. We can still fit the fleet just on one page in this very low level of expansion. So guys are right over here, just coming out of or running along the edge of the exclusion zone, and Elliot's creeping up towards Perth. So Sue Haley, interestingly, she went really high there. And Ian Herbert Jones sailing along well. Jeremy's going a bit slow. Captain Goog reckons he'll be at Cape Horn about the end of March at the current rate. And Bernard Tessia really heading south. It's quite interesting just to be reminding of their course. So he's heading down, and Avalish and Kirsten having their own little race, and Simon's roaring away, but he's got some light winds following behind. So quite a bit going on. Let's have a look at the leaderboard for daily runs in the last 24 hours. So Simon's in the lead, obviously, and he did 142 nautical miles in the last 24 hours, although we're not quite on to the next position. This could roll over in the next minute. And Avalish, 74 nautical mile day, still a little bit faster than Kirsten. Oh, there they go. Boom. All right, we'll start again. Distance has just popped up. So 144 nautical miles for Simon. He's slowed down to 5 knots now, and that's likely to continue. He'll be slowing down for the next 12 hours or so. Then Avalish, 99 nautical miles, but they've got maybe a day of good sailing, then a day of slow sailing. And Kirsten, not quite as good, still 80 miles. So Avalish is well and truly overtaken Kirsten. Captain Goog, 108 miles, that's not bad. And Jeremy, 78, not bad. Ian Herbert Jones, he's on a roll, 130 nautical miles. And Elliot, 109 nautical miles. That's pretty cool, considering he's not got a lot up. And Guy on 69 nautical miles. So that's all happening. And the distances to the finish all look reasonably correct at the moment. So no glitches there today. And if you do see a glitch, don't despair. It'll disappear shortly thereafter. So let's have a look at the back end of the fleet here, and see what Guy and Elliot are up to. All looks pretty plain sailing for them. You can see there's a big constant sort of westerly flow for Elliot, and it's even going to hook him up a little bit. That's cool. Guy's got a southerly wind, and he's been making 5.1 knots today, so at the moment. And Elliot, he had a good daily run, but he's slowed off now to 4 knots for now. Let's just roll that through for a day and see what happens. Here we go for a day. Guy's got similar wind, but it's backing right off, going slower. So losing a bit of speed. Elliot's probably maintaining that, so he'll have another 100-mile day. And then on to the second day. Elliot's got a good breeze, swinging up to the northwest, and Guy's got a good one as well from the northwest. And that'll probably hold for both of them by the look of it for another day. Let's just have a quick peek and see what's happening here. That's near enough to a day. Yeah, Guy's okay. He's got breeze, and Elliot's the same. He'll hold breeze. So they've got about 3 days of pretty reasonable sailing. So we can leave them there under the influence of that big high. And let's see what's going to happen to Jeremy heading into Hobart. He's currently, we'll just toggle this off, from about there to there. Currently a couple hundred miles, 222 miles from Hobart. It's cutting across land, he can't do, so maybe 240 or let's say 250 nautical miles that he's got to go to get to Hobart. And let's see what he's doing right now. He's doing 3.9. You can see he hasn't got a lot of breeze. Ian, on the other hand, 5.6, he's got more breeze, so he's closing the gap steadily. And in fact, he's quite close now, which is kind of interesting for me, because I'm supposed to go to New Zealand in between these two. Anyway, might have to cancel it. So he's now only 450 miles behind Jeremy. So that's, on average for him in the last week or so, it would only be about 3.5 days, 4 days max, 3.5 days between the two. But we all know what's happened when you get down below the bottom of New Zealand. You lose another day. It just disappears. So anyway, we'll get rid of that, and we'll just toggle this through. In fact, I'll bounce it through. I'll just walk it through, and we'll see what happens to the centre of this high just behind Jeremy. That's going to... Okay, so that's he's not going to go anywhere there in a hurry. and that's taking it through to about midnight tonight. So it's like he's not gone anywhere, and then it's light winds nearly really until this time tomorrow. So he's going to have a slow day. He's probably only going to do 50 miles today, so that would leave him a couple of 100 miles. So there's by this time tomorrow, he'll be about 185 miles away, and then we'll keep it moving. See what happens going through. Not a lot of wind between him and Hobart, and not a lot at all. So that's on the 12th. That's 2 days. So he's still going to be like 150 miles. So he's absolutely not going to arrive on the 12th. And then there's no wind in front of him there. This is getting into the third. That's the midnight on the 12th. Okay, and then he's got light headwinds coming in on the 13th. So I would suggest he's going to, and then stronger headwinds. So it's going to be Hobart time, very late on the 13th, I would suggest. So he's still not made a lot of progress, because I think I was saying something similar before. It could be early It could be early on the 13th. It just, so many variables here when you're forecasting no wind at all. For Ian, he's going to actually catch up a little bit more. So instead of being 500 miles, he might end up 350 miles away from him, but he's got reasonably good breeze all the way. And at that point there, you can see, he'll be over here by then, somewhere in here, and he's going to, there's quite a solid breeze coming across there, so there'll be a big rush. So you're going to see Ian actually catch up quite a bit towards Jeremy, which will keep him happy. So just to confirm that, let's just go with the magic figure for now. I forget what it was now. So, okay, 460. I reckon he's going to be about 300 miles away by the time he's there, so he'll be quite happy with that, because I know Jeremy generally has been sailing really, conservatively. He just wants to take it easy. He figured he's not going to catch the leaders, so he just wants to get around maybe. And Ian's on a bit of a hurry up, and that will be quite interesting. He could close the gap on that. So watch this space. Get rid of that one and come down to Goog, to today's weather. He's sailing consistently again, making reasonable time, doing 5.3 knots right now, and a pretty good daily run, 108. But he thinks he's going slow when you look at his tweets from before. Well, not going slow, but he was saying the end of March. I think he'll probably get there quicker than that. He's doing pretty well, really. So we can look at his weather when we're talking about... no, we can't go all the way through, but let's just see what's going to happen to Abelish and Kirsten. Abelish is absolutely powering past Kirsten right now and sailing very well, obviously. There, just to give you an idea of the distance here. Oh, no, it's not that one. I'm going to pull this up. Oh, I've got to leave it there. Hang on, we'll forget that. I'm going to toggle the weather through first. So we'll see what they're going to get between the three of them before we go here. Here's every hour. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the next 12 hours, Goog's got consistent breezes again, staying the same. He'll be doing 6 knots all the way. And Abelish and Kirsten, they're still looking at, I'd say, around 5 knots for the next half a day. And then it's going to go quiet. So now we're toggling through again the next 12 hours. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you can see there's a big hole there for Kirsten and Abelish in the last half of the day. So by this time tomorrow, they'll have this kind of forecast. You might remember that we were thinking something different here. This big wind gradient here has moved way offshore and come right down to the corner, but they're nowhere near it, so it's not a problem. This is their problem. They've got very light winds. They'll move hardly anywhere in that 12 hours. So you're going to see them generally in the next 24 hours. They'll probably only be making 70, 80 miles again, something like that. Nothing too exciting in that 24 hours. Good goes quiet again after that. The centre of that high is coming over him, so he'll go quiet. And then for the next 24 hours, if we just toggle this through, they've got good breezes, so they'll be back on track again. And the good news, if I can say any of that, hang on, get rid of this. If we look out here, previously the forecast was showing a big trap here with no winds. They were still on the wrong side of a new high forming. which didn't help them stay in touch with Simon, even though he's 800 miles or so in front. But that seems to have all changed. This looks like it's all squashed around completely differently. And you'll remember this was coming around here, and then there was a big hole there. That's not happening now. It's all completely turned upside down. The strength of this big high here has pushed right through, and that's the dominant factor. This is the leading edge of this high that's actually in the Tasman Sea here. So that's good for Aberlich and Kirsten. They'll have a breeze going through them. And I don't want to go back there, but Simon was going to slow down for about 8 hours as the centre came over, and then he's going to speed up again with this solid northerly, and he'll keep moving. So that's 2 days ahead. We'll go through a bit more, and you can see Simon he's not getting a big gale there. It'll be gusting 35. It'll be 35 knots, gusting 40, from the north, which doesn't build up as big a sea as if it's the other way around. So he'll cope with all that. He's on the top of it. There's no sudden wind direction change, so it's not a big storm situation. And coming through again, you can see the risk. Here comes actually the centre of that high that was in the Tasman split. And it's now coming over behind these guys, Kirsten and Aberlich, but they should be far enough ahead to just stay in the breeze there. And Simon's going to keep sailing as well. So it's a little bit tricky, but not a lot of changes. Simon goes slow for a day. Kirsten and Aberlich keep sailing for half a day and then go slow for half a day. So they'll hold their relative positions. It's going to be very hard for them to close that gap anymore. And it's now 900 nautical miles. So that's kind of cool for Simon. He's doing well. And let's just have a close look, just for those that are looking at the battle between Kirsten and Aberlich, just to quantify the gains that Aberlich has made over the last sort of 4 or 5 days. He's actually gained quite a bit. I'll put that on the front and that on the front. Okay, it's 44, 45, maybe 50 miles in total. I'll put it on the front there, and I'll put it on the front there. That's pretty much run 9. Okay, 42 miles. So he's 42 miles in front of Kirsten, but Kirsten's got a bit more time compensation. So technically Kirsten's probably in front, but who cares? It's a boat race. So these guys are having fun, and it's a long way to the finish yet, to Les Sables d'Olonne. So Goog should be off Cape Horn about middle of March, and I would think, let's see what happens. Who's going to be first at the equator, I imagine? I wonder. Anyway, all